Welcome to AI for GIs, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. Class 19, Power Automate plus Ask Sage API integration. Your S3 spends 80 hours a month reading, classifying, and routing reports by hand. One officer, 4 hours every morning before a single operational task gets touched. This class shows you how to cut that to 10 hours of review and reclaim 70 hours for actual mission work. You will build a complete Power Automate flow that calls the Ask Sage API, routes based on confidence, and transfers to any platform. I'm Dr. Justin Webb. Let's begin. 5 objectives. Each one builds on Module 4. Explain the separation of workflow orchestration from AI processing. Design a flow that calls Ask Sage via HTTP connector. Implement confidence-based routing straight from Class 13. Calculate token consumption and design for cost efficiency. And adapt this entire pattern to Make.com, Zapier, N8N, or any other platform pairing. These objectives did not come from nowhere. They trace a path through every class in this module. Everything in Module 4 was building to this. Class 16 gave you the 9 building blocks. Class 17 applied them to data pipelines. Class 18 introduced agents that decide their own steps. Now, Class 19 brings it together. A workflow orchestrator calling an AI API to augment human decisions. 3 roles, clearly separated. Automation handles plumbing. AI handles thinking. Humans handle judgment. And that 3-part separation is the architecture that makes everything else work. The fatal mistake is welding your workflow logic to your AI logic into one monolithic system. Break that instinct now. Separate what orchestrates from what thinks. 5 orchestration platforms on one side. 5 AI APIs on the other. Each pair connects through a simple HTTP call. If Ask Sage goes down, your flow catches the error at one step and executes a fallback. Swapping AI providers means changing one HTTP action, not rebuilding the entire automation. The theory sounds clean. The real question is, what happens when you don't separate them? Combined systems lock you to one platform. Separated systems let you mix and match. If the AI breaks in a combined system, the whole workflow breaks. In a separated system, that failure is one handled step with a defined fallback. Power Automate and Ask Sage pair well for Army units, because Power Automate ships with most GCC and GCC high environments. Ask Sage operates at impact level 5 and 6. Together, they are the lowest barrier entry to AI-augmented automation for any Army organization. So what does this actually look like for a real staff section? 30 reports a day, SITREPs, STREPs, OPSUMs, fragmentary orders, 8 minutes per report, 4 hours every morning, 80 officer hours per month on pure admin. The automated version, Power Automate triggers on arrival, calls Ask Sage to classify and extract, routes to the right team's channel, compiles a daily brief. The officer reviews in 30 minutes, corrects 2 or 3 classifications, 10 hours of review instead of 80, 70 hours reclaimed every month. That automation starts with an API call, 4 endpoints. The critical one is the OpenAI compatible endpoint at /v1 chat completions. Any tool built for OpenAI works with Ask Sage by changing a single URL. Authentication uses the X-Access tokens header. For production workflows, always use static API keys stored as secure variables. Temporary tokens expire in 24 hours. A flow built on temp tokens breaks overnight. Your unit's flows on GCC or GCC high must use the Army endpoint. No exceptions. Now watch what you actually send through that endpoint. 1 API call, 5 parameters. Get any wrong and you get silent failure. No error message, just empty output. 2 traps to know. The dataset field must be the string none, not an empty string. Empty string causes silent failure. The persona field must be the integer 1, not a string. Passing a string description instead of an integer returns nothing. No error, no warning. That single mistake has cost teams hours of debugging. So you send the call. What exactly comes back? This is the number one integration mistake with Ask Sage. The AI output is in a field called message, not response. If you reference response in your flow, you get empty output with no error. Your flow runs, the step completes, and the variable is blank. When you instruct JSON output, you need two parse JSON steps. The outer parse extracts the message field from Ask Sage. The inner parse decomposes that string into your actual data fields. 2 parses. That catches most people, and the API can do more than just answer prompts. Not every endpoint costs tokens. The /server count monthly tokens endpoint is free. Build a monitoring flow that calls it weekly. Free intelligence on your own spending. The game changer is the OpenAI compatible endpoint. Any tool that calls OpenAI, Make.com, Zapier, N8N, Python can call Ask Sage by changing one configuration value, the base URL. One URL change. That is the entire migration. With the API understood, here is how you wire it into a complete flow. 6 steps. Each maps to class 16 building blocks. Trigger when a report arrives. Collect the document text. Call Ask Sage via HTTP post. Parse the response, checking for errors. Route based on content and confidence. Act by posting to teams, updating the tracker, compiling the brief. Steps 3 through 5 are the AI integration core. Step 3 is where most teams get stuck. Set your timeout to 120 seconds. AI calls on large documents take 30 to 60 seconds. Default timeout kills them. Combine classification, extraction, and confidence rating into a single API call. 3 outputs, 1 call. Making 3 separate calls waste tokens on redundant input processing. One critical warning. Power Automate Desktop's invoke web service action does not format Ask Sage requests correctly. Use a PowerShell action with invoke REST method instead. That PowerShell path brings its own challenge on Army machines. Constrained language mode blocks your code. Here is the workaround. Army PowerShell blocks COM objects, static .NET methods, add type, the raw parameter, and computed string indexing. Every tutorial, every Stack Overflow answer uses these. They all fail silently on Army machines. 3 workarounds will save you hours of debugging. The most critical, explicitly cast every JSON value. Without explicit casts, convert to JSON produces empty output in constrained language mode. Once your call succeeds, you need to decide what to do with the answer. This is where Class 13 stops being theory and becomes code. Above 90% confidence, auto-route, minimal human involvement. Between 60 and 90, route and flag for review. Below 60, escalate to the XO for manual triage. The automation adapts its trust level to each individual report. Start conservative. Set your auto-route cutoff at 95, not 90. After 200 to 300 reports with human verification, calibrate from your own data. A model can report high confidence while being wrong. Trust data, not self-assessment. But confidence routing means nothing if you run out of tokens halfway through the month. Run out of tokens in week 2, and your unit has 0 AI capability for weeks 3 and 4. The math: 30 reports, 2,500 tokens each, 75,000 daily, 1.5 million monthly. That is measurable but modest. Build a monitoring flow using the free /server count monthly tokens endpoint. If consumption hits 70% before week 3, alert your workflow admin. Budget discipline for tokens follows the same logic as budget discipline for ammunition. 1.5 million sounds like a lot. Here is how you cut it by a third. 5 strategies, but one dominates. Pre-filter with deterministic rules. If 10 of your 30 daily reports have subject lines like log sitrep or per stat, route them with simple string matching. 0 tokens. That eliminates a third of your API calls entirely. Monthly consumption drops from 1.5 million to 1 million. A 33% reduction through code alone, with 0 degradation in AI quality. The cheapest model that meets your quality requirement is always the correct choice. Report processing is one use case. Here is a completely different one with the same architecture. Every unit writes AARs. The failure is not generating action items. The failure is tracking them. 8 training events per month, 5 to 15 action items each, 40 to 120 items monthly. The current process has 4 handoff points, and each one is a silent failure. The AAR gets emailed to the S3, maybe. The S3 NCOIC reads it and types items into Excel, maybe. The same problems reappear quarter after quarter because action items die in transit. Now watch what happens when you automate those 4 failure points. 10 steps. Only one requires a human. Upload the AAR document to SharePoint. From there, the flow triggers instantly. Extracts text. Calls Ask Sage to identify action items with category, responsible section, priority, and confidence. High confidence items auto-assign. Medium and low confidence items route to the S3 OIC for manual assignment. A weekly subflow queries anything open past 14 days and sends overdue notifications. All 4 manual failure points eliminated. So what does this cost in tokens? 8 AARs a month. 4,100 tokens each. 32,800 tokens total. Compare that to 1.5 million for report processing. The AAR workflow costs 2% as much. This reveals where to deploy AI automation first. Low volume, high impact admin processes. Minimal token cost, massive operational improvement. A battalion that actually closes action items instead of rediscovering the same problems every quarter builds a compounding training advantage. And the best part? This exact pattern works on any platform, not just Power Automate. Step back from Power Automate and Ask Sage. The pattern matters more than the tools. 5 platform pairings, same architecture. Power Automate with Ask Sage for Army GCC. Make.com with OpenAI for commercial prototyping. Zapier with Claude for simple integrations. N8N with any LLM for self-hosted flexibility. Palantir Automate with AIP Logic for enterprise Foundry environments. Every connector name, endpoint URL, and SharePoint action changes. The architecture does not. But what exactly transfers, and what do you have to relearn? 4 things change between platforms: the interface, the connector names, the authentication method, and JSON field names. Those are documentation lookups. An afternoon with help pages. 6 things stay the same: the 6-step flow pattern, confidence-based routing, error handling, token budgeting, separation of orchestration from intelligence, and human approval gates. Those are architectural decisions. They took this entire module to develop. Invest your learning time in the pattern, and that pattern has a name. Trigger, collect, call API, parse, route, act. 6 steps, works on every orchestration platform with every AI API. Power Automate becomes Make.com tomorrow. Ask Sage becomes Claude next quarter. The pattern does not change. The confidence routing does not change. The error handling does not change. You are not learning tools. You are learning the universal architecture of connecting any orchestrator to any AI to augment human decisions. Here is what you should remember from today. 5 principles. Separate orchestration from intelligence. Each component does what it does best. The HTTP action is the bridge between any platform and any AI. Confidence-based routing turns human-in-the-loop policy into executable code. Token budgets are hard operational constraints. Calculate, monitor, optimize. And the pattern is permanent. The platforms are temporary. Trigger, collect, call API, parse, route, act. Next class is the capstone. Class 20. You design your own AI-powered workflow from scratch for a real military scenario. Everything from this module comes together in one design challenge. Stay connected with AI for GIs on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Visit the full course at the link below. I'm Dr. Justin Webb. Thanks for joining me for AI for GIs.